in favor of further destruction and a wider war in Syria, it is Israel, and this may be what's happening now. We can only speculate, but it's very possible that Israel is trying to create the circumstances of a wider war.
Speaking of that, Mr. Louroudi, up until now, this is not the first time that Israel is targeting Syrian soil with its missiles. It has done so continually, many pointing to the fact that this is being done specifically when the Syrian army starts making more significant gains on the ground against these terrorist groups. However, is this an indication on the part of Israel that it is willing to escalate the situation directly? Because up until now, the Syrian government has been has expressed a lot of restraint when it comes to responding to these to these Israeli strikes.
Well, there's been increased tension between Israel and Russia about these strikes, and Russia has given some warnings, you can say, to Israel. So the question is whether the Russians will respond in a way, for example, to fire surface-to-air missiles that damage or destroy. It probably wouldn't be the Russians themselves. It would be their weapons, which are in the hands of the Syrians. But these are all coordinated between the forces that we're talking about, between the Syrians and the Russians, and it could be a very dangerous situation there if the Russians get involved, and of course the Israelis are going to appeal to the Americans, which is perhaps exactly what they're trying to make happen in this case.
Then, Mr. Louroudi, what do you think that these strikes, be it by Israel or be it by the US, UK, and France, what do they hope to achieve on the ground?
Well, the objective, as with Libya and Iraq and Afghanistan, is to essentially destroy a state that is not following the instructions of the United States and its allies, and the destruction, the overthrowing of the existing government in Syria has been an objective all along. We know that the Saudis are in favor of a war between essentially religiously aligned groups like the Sunnis against the Shia, and this fits in with Israel's objective of essentially destroying all its neighbors and being the biggest and most powerful nation in the region. So this is very possibly what Israel is trying to achieve here.
But surely such a policy has consequences, Mr. Louroudi, because let's not forget, we did hear the UN Special Envoy for Syria speak of how we are at the point in this conflict in Syria where it's not just Syrian security that's at stake, it can hurt international security.
There's no question about it. It's very dangerous, and the Russians pointed this out. They warned the U.S. that the nuclear powers are involved here, not only the United States and Russia, but also, for example, Israel is an unacknowledged nuclear power, and China could be involved. It's very easy for this to spread widely, which is why the Russians in this case have been the adults among children, childish behavior here. They did everything to prevent the U.S. attack from being any wider than it was, and they managed to do some backroom communication in order to keep it under control. Israel is doing the opposite. Israel is trying to get it to go out of control. They think that the more chaos and the more destruction and the more war there is, the more they benefit, and that's certainly been true until now.
All right, we'll keep a close eye on the situation and see how it develops further. That's Paul LaRudy, former U.S. government advisor, joining us via Skype from Berkeley. Mr. LaRudy, it's always great having you with us here on Press TV. Just a quick reminder to our viewers, though, you've been watching the breaking news that had just come in about the situation in Syria earlier.